Hello, Eurovision friends. Thank you so much for coming to my channel, Eurovision Histories. Due to high popular demand in this video, I would like to talk about the 12 songs who are vying to represent Greece in Eurovision 2025. So the 12 songs of the national final Ethnikós Telikós, which is just a few days away. Three things are going to happen in this video. First of all, I'm going to give you my own personal subjective top 12 of all of the songs. Then I will let you know who I think should represent Greece, who will give Greece its best chance to do well at Eurovision. And then last but not least, I will tell you who I think will win the whole thing. So let's get right to it. So let's start with my own personal top 12. It was quite hard to rank the songs, especially the lower places. So don't take that too seriously. The top 4 or 5 are the songs I really, really like and I enjoy listening to. The others I will talk about briefly and let you know what I think and why they're not part of my top per se. So first of all, in 12th place, I have High Road by Georgina Calais and John Vlaseros. Nice soul-y sound, but in its genre, which is a genre I usually like, it seems quite generic, a bit boring, and by the end of the song, I just couldn't hear High Road anymore. They repeated way too much throughout the song, and that is why it's my number 12. In 11th place, I have Free Love. This sounds a bit outdated, quite outdated actually. It's very repetitive as well. The lyrics are a bit trite, and it sounds like a very generic pop rock song, something that was part of Eurovision in the 90s, early 2000s, but doesn't really sound like modern Eurovision to me. Then we have Elevator by Ricky. This is actually a fun, upbeat song. Listening to it again before I started recording, I thought, well, 10th is maybe too low for this, so this might be a grower for me. It sounds quite radio friendly. It is a cool sound, but a bit uneventful. Like it's a bit monotonous, goes through the motions, not that much is happening. In 9th place, I have Sirens by Barbs. I love her voice, the raspiness that is in there, the very modern production of the whole thing. And it has a cool soundscape, so to speak, and a modern production. But the song itself is just missing something. Not that much is happening. It's a bit uneventful, and that's why it's my number 9. Then in 8th place, I have Lost My Way by Andy Nicholas. In general, you will notice that a lot of the English language songs are lower in my ranking because I love the Greek language and I think it's a bit sad that that many songs are in English. So this one might have been higher up in my list if it were in Greek. I love a good guitar instrumentation, and this has it. I like his voice as well, but especially the chorus is a bit disappointing. It floats around in a way, the song, but nothing that interesting is happening. And especially some of the lyrics, end of the line, run out of time. I don't want to hear that anymore, 100%. Now, in 7th place, I have Odyssey by Dynamis. This feels a little bit disjointed to me. I do like a lot of the elements that the song has, this almost trap beat, the rap parts, the dance breaks. It is a fun, upbeat song. It's quite catchy, but for me, it doesn't quite come together 100% as a song, as a product that you want to sell to people. But this has a lot of staging potential, I do think. In 6th place, I have Play It by Xanova Xan. I guess is how you pronounce it. I like the references to Aphrodite and Athena, to Greek mythology. I like that part. It's upbeat. It has a very driving beat, which is cool. A good chorus as well. This reminds me a lot of Effendi and Cleopatra and these types of songs that try to throw everything in as well. It is good enough, but it just misses the spark for me that makes it one of my favorites. Then I have Unhurt Me with by Nafsika. This is the kind of song that is always part of the national finals, it seems like. It's a standard pop ballad with good vocals. She has a very nice vocal tone. I like that a lot, and it floats. It's kind of cozy, which is why it's higher up than some of the other ballads. But it also is a bit uneventful. There is a bit of a build-up starting, and then it doesn't really build to anything, which is always a bit frustrating to me. But it has a nice feel, but something really special is missing from this song, I think. Now we get to the songs that I actually like a lot, and incidentally, they are all at least partly in Greek. In fourth place, I have Gimou by Kostas Ageris. I just love the strings in this, the instrumentation, the driving beat as well, his voice with the traditional inflections in some parts of the song. It sounds very traditional, but also has modern elements and it brings it together well. I love the instrumental part before the last chorus. And I also like this was kind of saved by the last minute, this song to me. And that's why it's my number 4. It gets a bit faster and a bit more interesting. That could have started a bit earlier. But overall, it has a nice feel to it. The Greek language is beautiful in this. And his voice also fits it very well. So that's why it's my number 4. In third place, I have Paradisos. This feels to me like you're sitting at the sea on the beach or something, and the waves are coming in, and you're rocking back and forth with the waves. It's just beautiful. You might say, well, you said that some of the other songs are outdated and old-fashioned. Why would you like this one then? This is the kind of old-fashioned that is intentionally old-fashioned, if that makes sense. That's how it feels to me. I love the harmonies of their voices, this back and forth between the instruments, the traditional instruments, and their voices as well, like they're in a conversation in a way. And just the beautiful Greek language again comes through in this 100%. This is a song I will listen to quite a lot. I think maybe a lot of young people will think that this is way too old-fashioned, but this is the kind of song that I like Eurovision for, and that's why it's my number 3. In second place, I have Asteromata by Claudia. Beautiful song. And then I looked at the lyrics and it became even more beautiful. I think they're about a child that has died and is now singing this song to its mother. However, there are also elements that talk about she sings, even if they cross the seas, they never forget the soil of their roots. So maybe the mother that is being sung to is Mother Earth of the place that was their homeland and they had to leave. So a very universal theme that a lot of people will be able to identify with, at least if they understand the lyrics. I'm happy that this is in Greek. Again, beautiful language, adds a lot of feeling and the specific feel to the song that a song in English just doesn't have. I love how the intensity builds very slowly throughout the first minute and a half to these sustained vocals and these very beautiful instruments as well. The soundscape is beautiful. This feels a bit like the Serbian entry last year in the way it is structured. It doesn't have a traditional structure 100%. It's more like an experience and a piece of art. And I really like that. So well done, Claudia, with this song. Very good. And then my number 1 is Valet by Evangelia. I really like this song. You might be a bit surprised if you've been to this channel. Maybe you expected my number 2 to be my number 1, because sometimes I don't like these kinds of songs that don't really have that much lyrical content, which I don't think this does. But I just love the modern production, the beat at the beginning. It feels very chart friendly and like a song you could hear on the charts by Dua Lipa, for example. But then it has the language change, which feels very, very natural, which is not that easy to do. So it does that really well. And then you have the chorus, which feels like a world music chorus, like it could be a song for the World Cup or a Shakira song for the World Cup, for example. That is cool. Then you have this dubsteppy almost part. So a lot of stuff is happening in this song, and it might have felt disjointed, but maybe to some people it will feel disjointed, but to me it kind of comes together and works, especially because the language changes, the transitions work, the transitions between the chorus and the verses work as well. And I just love that there is a bit of a traditional beat, traditional instrumentation. And so it combines this world music, the modern beats, and traditional elements as well. So kind of Eurovision in a nutshell for you. And that's why Evangelia is my number 1. Now, that was my personal subjective opinion about the songs. Now let's talk about who should win for Greece, who can give Greece its best result at Eurovision, in my opinion. I think that they should not send one of the English language songs because lots of countries will send songs in English that are chart friendly, that are pop songs. And the songs we have in this lineup that are English and chart friendly pop are just, in my opinion, not good enough to really stand out in this sea of English pop songs that we will have. So I would send, I thought kind of about Play It or Odyssey as well, which could be interesting and might have a good stage show and work at Eurovision. But mostly, I think it should be a song in Greek. We have Gimou by Kostas Ageris, which is a beautiful song and which, especially with the last minute of the song, could really engage a lot of viewers. Not sure how the juries would react to it because the juries don't really love songs that with these traditional elements. Asteromata might be a good compromise between public and jury. It's not as traditional, so the juries might be more into it, and it's still a beautiful song that a lot of people, televoters, might go for. The main reason why I wouldn't maybe choose this one is that in the semifinal it might be forgotten, but I don't really believe that. I think it would get enough televotes to make it to the final, and then in the final, the juries would help it get a really good result. So yeah, nothing really speaks against this to be the Greek entry. But my main choice would be Valet by Evangelia because it combines so many different styles. I think the juries could go for this because there is a chart friendliness to it and a modern production to it. And the televoters and people who love traditional instruments and traditional elements, at least in the songs, would also like this quite a lot. So I think if I were Greece, I would choose Evangelia for the win. Now let's see my prediction. I'm not really an expert in the Greek music industry or in this national final, but from what I've heard, I think Klavdia is one of the big favorites. It's a big fan favorite. It got the most views on YouTube, but I also think that Evangelia is still in it with a chance. So I think it might be between those two for the win in Greece. Do let me know in the comments. I'm guessing that a lot of you disagree with my opinions. Let me know in the comments who is your favorite, who you think will win, and who you think should win. And then we can have a discussion in the comments. If you don't want to miss any videos like this one on other national finals and entries and whatever, do subscribe to this channel, and then I'll see you for my next video. See you then, and bye-bye.